Hello YouTubers, today I'm going to teach you how to change your oil on a 2019 Subaru Forester. And first I'll show you what you need as far as the tools and specialty little items to take the access panel off underneath. Most importantly, what I'm going to teach you is what not to do when you're underneath the car, like I did, which was drain the transmission fluid instead of the oil. So let's get going. First off, what you will need is something to catch the oil, and the basic tools that I found out that I needed are a Phillips screwdriver, a standard screwdriver, and a socket, which is a 14 millimeter socket, and something to put the oil in, and I got myself a flashlight there. So what I did first, since this car sits so low to the ground, is I jacked it up. Make sure you use a safety jack underneath, just in case something were to go wrong, like I did right there. And then the oil that you need is, as you can see, is 0W20. That's Subaru specialty type oil, because I've never had to use that before. And I buy my oil filters just from a local AutoZone or Walmart, and you can see there it's just a 7317. You can get whatever oil filter you want. So what else you need to do before you get going with the oil, this is to help the oil drain out the bottom, is I take off the filler cap, which is underneath the hood. What I do is I just pop this off here, and it's just like vacuum pressure. You just want to make sure when you pull the drain plug out that all the oil is going to come out properly. So you just pop that off and set it to the side. And we'll come back to this. This is where the oil filter is. And that's why I showed you, you are going to need an oil filter wrench some of the times, because this is my first time doing it, 5,000 miles. When it came from the factory, that oil filter is sometimes on there pretty good. Good. Okay, so next what I talked about was there's underneath the 2019 Subaru Forester, there is an access panel here. That's what you need to take off in order to change your oil. Do not take off this plug. Try and show it to you here. It's about 2 feet farther back towards the car. Let me get a little light on that for you. You do not want to take off this plug right here. That will drain your transmission. Do not touch that, because nowadays you cannot fill the transmission from the top of the car. It has to be filled from underneath, and unfortunately it was almost a $200 mistake on my part. That's why I made this video. Okay, let's go back to the access panel here. So we just moved towards the front of the car, and that's why we have a standard screwdriver. 1 second here. And we have a Phillips. Subaru put one plastic clip that need a Phillips to get at, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4 clips here. You'll be using just a standard, just to stick underneath here, just to pop off the clips. Okay, so let's get going. First thing we do is just take off this first clip. It unscrews. And then what we're going to do next is we just pull this out. And the little piece of clip there, sometimes it gets a little caught. That's where the standard comes in. And just pop that little clip out. It pops right out. Just set all these little clips to the side, and I'll show you how to put them back in. Next, on the standard ones, you just pop it there, and then it pulls right out. Okay, that's 1, 2, and you have to take them all out because it doesn't flap down enough, so take all 4 of them out. 3, and 4. Now the panel comes down. Okay, and underneath here, if we can get my cameraman to show that. Hold on 1 second. I had loosened this a little bit just to make sure, so it's just leaking a little bit of oil because I had loosened it ahead of time. Okay, so if my cameraman can show up inside there, that's where the plug is. Okay, that's where the 14 millimeter socket comes into play. And before you go pulling that down, what you want to do is move all your clips and your screwdrivers out of the way. and have your drain plug, your drain catch pan ready to go. All right, so put your 14mm on there. All right, break it free like I just did, and then you should be able to just loosen it with your finger and have this catch pan just ready to go, because it does come gushing out pretty fast. And that's why we took the top drain fill cap off, because now the oil will come out faster than if you didn't. So here we go. I keep taking it off, unspinning it, and any second now it's gonna come gushing out. Right about now. There we go. Oil comes straight out. And don't do what I just did, which was let the drain plug fall in. Pause it for me, please. Okay, folks, I got the drain plug out of the bottom of the oil drain pan there, and all we're doing now is we're putting the 14mm back inside here. After the oil drain, this is, I consider it the best way, so you don't forget to do things. I let the oil drain out. And pull the drain pan out of the way. Then we'll tighten up this nut on here. And don't over tighten, certainly don't leave it loose, but never over tighten. So just a good snug. Alrighty.
Go.
Okay, so we got the drain plug on. Now we're gonna put the access panel back on just the way it, just reversing what we did before. Clean it up. And all that goes on is it set it in place. Remember, there was 4 clips that needed no screwing in, and then the one with the Phillips. So all you do is take each clip, poke it in the hole, clip it in. 1, 2, and just make sure it's popped out all the way before you put it in. Sometimes they want to go back in. And if that happens, you just grab a standard again and pop it back out. Number 3. Number 4. And then the Phillips one, as you see, they came apart. What you do is you take the base of it, put it in the hole, and it'll stay there. And then take your Phillips screwdriver, poke the nut inside there, the plastic nut, and just put it back in. All right. Okay, so the screw with the drain plug is back on, and the access panel is back on. And now we're going to go to the top of the car. All right, so here we are at the top of the car now. What we're going to do is take off the oil filter, which is very conveniently located at the top. No more on your back. And this is the first oil change of this car, so it is on there pretty good. That's why I have an oil filter wrench. So we're going to put it on there. And there's enough room to get this in here, and you just move it off by about little half inches at a time. Like that. You can see it's moving. Reposition it, get it back up there, reposition it. Probably gonna have to do this just a few times so you feel like you know you can get it off by your hand. That should do it. And there we go. So you just go real slow because there is oil inside here. All right. Pull it off. And one key thing you always want to make sure of is that the rubber seal on here did not get stuck to the top of the area where the oil filter stays in there. Mine came off. Now what you do is we get the new oil filter, get that ready to go, get your oil all set. Always pull these off because you don't want these going inside of your engine. So pull these little metal tinfoil pieces off, set them to the side for the garbage. And what we're going to do is this. put this down here so it doesn't fall. You take this oil filter, always take a little bit of oil from the fresh can, just with your finger. What you do is you just lube it around the seal. That just makes sure that it's not going to get stuck and that it slides as you put this back on. All right, so it's been lubed. Give it a quick wipe down here, get any debris out of there. Take a new oil filter, put it on. How simple is that? Not having to be on your back. Hand tight only, don't over tighten these. So get it snug and then give it a good turn with your hand. That's plenty, okay? Next, last thing we have to do is fill the oil. For a 2019 Subaru Forester, I've already checked in the book, with an oil filter change takes 4.4 quarts. This is 5 quarts, and as you can see on the side, it's going to tell me when I get down to the almost the very bottom here, leave about a half a quart in here. I go a little bit more. I'll probably put 4 quarts in, run it, test it, and then I'll add a little bit more because you don't want to overfill it. So here we go. That's why you have your funnel here. Okay. And I'll get my cameraman to move around the other side of me so he can see everything. All we do is slowly go at it. And we will basically put almost this whole jug in here. I always choose to use a funnel because if you don't, even no matter how steady your hand is, you will most likely get oil all over your nice clean engine. So I don't choose to do that. This moves pretty quickly with a funnel too. We're probably already at half the 5 quart jug. Coming up, I can feel about 3 quarts. Let's check it. Yeah, I've gotten pretty good. See, I put 4 quarts in. I know it takes 4.4, so I'll put a little bit more in, and then I'll start the car and test it, check it, and then add a little bit more. So that's something that I can do off camera. That probably took us, even with my little mistake of dropping the drain plug in there. You can do your own oil change once you get really proficient at it in probably 15 minutes. So the 4 things that you want to make sure of. Number 1, as I started out the video, take your time and make sure you access the oil drain plug through the access panel. Do not go anywhere near the transmission drain plug. Number 2, make sure you loosen up this filler cap before you start removing the drain plug. Drain the oil, put the drain plug back on, put the access panel back on, come up top as we just did, remove the filter, lube up the filter, put it back on, and then fill it up. So that's how easy it is to change the oil on a 2019 Subaru Forester. Have a good day.